So we're going to start with this Fox News video about Marco Rubio apparently throwing down with Democrats. We'll see. But I think he was in the, it says House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing. And so I know that there were a lot of good clips from this, or like I've seen some good clips from this. So I'm curious, what all happened at this hearing, what people were calling him out for. I assume Iran is going to be a big part of it. And so that's why I'm kind of starting it at the top. I like to start with the Iran stuff. So let's go ahead and watch this. We'll see what's going on. We'll see if he throws it down or not. I hope he does. Best of luck to him.
All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifying on Capitol Hill in front of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. The secretary pushing back on Democrats for turning the hearing into an absolute mockery. Listen to this.
It seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice. And just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big.
We're talking about shoes. Are you guys...
Pretty funny. I mean, that's pretty funny. I do agree with her. They are refusing to admit that Iran is winning the war, but that's not anything unique, I would say, to Donald Trump. I think that any president who was there, any Secretary of Defense, I think, or whatever Marco Rubio is in charge of, what I forget what his actual position is. One second. Marco Rubio position. I get all these titles mixed up in my head. Secretary of State. Okay, that's what he is. But I think that any Secretary of State, regardless of presidency, would be, it's their kind of job to do propaganda for the administration. Like, none of them are just going to go out there and like straight up admit the truth when it comes to such a catastrophic, own goal that is us deciding to go to war with Iran. So, but talking about the shoes is pretty funny. For those unaware, I think that Donald Trump, I guess, gave everybody shoes one time, and I think he like guesstimated all of their shoe sizes, and they were like all wrong. It was not just for Marco Rubio. I think it's for a whole bunch of people. But yeah, and she's obviously just making a "you got tiny feet" joke, which it's the era of politics we're living in. I would personally love for it to be a lot more serious in the halls of Congress, but this is what we live through. This is American culture, so yeah, that's fine.
Is kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus?
If you can't call out corruption in this country, then how can you call it out in another
Well, I can't say anything because you won't let me speak. Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh,
look at all this. Look at this guy back here. He's just chuckling. He's just enjoying the show. This is what I'm saying. This is American politics. And this isn't just American politics, too. If you go and watch like British politics and like in their House of Lords or whatever, like people get up and just start like screaming and yelling and throwing shit at each other. So I guess to some extent, this is politics with American characteristics is how I would say. Now, China, I assure you, would not allow this level of degeneracy in their halls of their deliberative bodies. However, here in America, this is what we get. And I wouldn't have it any other way. OK, this is what freedom looks like, people.
Please go. OK, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
Joining us now to react, senior writer for the Washington.
That was so fake. Oh, is this the guy that was behind him? Wait a second. That's the same guy, right?
Well, thank you for coming.
Right?
Joining us now to react, senior writer for the Washington Examiner.
Isn't that the same guy, or do they just look exactly the same? Sorry, sometimes white people look like I can't tell white people apart sometimes.
Fox News contributor Joe Koch.
Well, particularly old white Congress members, they all look the fucking same to me.
Joining us now to react, senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Koch. I mean, Marco Rubio's a master at this, but I want to focus on the bigger issue here, which I think is a huge problem. These Democrats come off as completely unserious, Joe, and ignorant to the facts, as well as unwilling to learn and educate themselves on reality. Combine all that, that's a bad combo, Joe.
I'll let him say first.
Absolutely, Todd. I mean, you see these Democrats, they come into these hearings, right, in an attempt to make clips themselves yelling at somebody like Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, with pre-written notes. You notice how they're always looking down, reading something probably written by their staffers so they could take those clips
no shit.
and put it up on TikTok, social media.
Okay. First and foremost, glass houses, my dude. Like, everybody does this shit. Republicans do this shit too. This is if it was Biden's Secretary of State or whatever who was coming out there, I assure you they would all be out there putting their trying to get their clips together of them fighting or fighting against them, or like their own compilation or whatever. I don't disagree that it's annoying that our politics is like this. I wish it was different, like I said at the beginning, but this is how it is. And so I don't know. I think that that's a little bit silly. I also think it's ridiculous to be mad about people coming in with notes of questions that they're going to ask. That's just your job. That's literally your job, is to write down the things that you want to ask, the points that you want to get across when you're asking them, and the information you're trying to get out of him. I will say that I get a little bit annoyed that they never really seem to actually want to hear the other person, right? I do wish that they allowed the other person to speak more. I've talked about that before. I think that it's not really conducive to any sort of for me as a listener, as somebody who's trying to watch these hearings and get some information out of them, I do wish that they gave them more time to speak, regardless of who it is. But like I said, this is everybody does this shit, and this is just what it is. I'm I've made my peace with it, at least.
Media, and seem to have no interest, to your point, of actually getting to anything resembling the truth, but only to simply draw attention to themselves and then fundraise off of it. And therefore, to Marco Rubio's complete and total just what is going on here type of attitude, these hearings are the biggest waste of time in politics in the social media area for that reason, because truth isn't the goal. TikTok is the goal. And I think even Rubio at one point did say that this is your whole point. This is why you're just yelling at me right now. I think that...
Well, it's not necessary. It's also narrative is the goal. And that's why I say Republicans do it too. It's not just about getting clout online. Yes, that is kind of a part of it to some extent. A lot of these people are very self-interested, but there is also a political goal of doing this, and that is creating a narrative, right? That's why the right does this shit all the time too, where they just yell and talk over the person and try to make them look like a fool or whatever. Is to try to get a narrative, and it's also why this guy is right here on Fox News trying to create a narrative as well. It's all about just the narratives that they're trying to make. So yeah.
In the end, Rubio looked like the adult in the room, while
I want to hear
Democrats
more Rubio
asking
clips,
these questions where one couldn't even stay to listen to the answers, because that
there's
isn't
some
what
more
she was
later on.
interested
It
in.
looks
They look like the children.
Yeah, and Joe, that's not all. Elsewhere on Capitol Hill, here's a portion of DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullins' day.
When will you stop DHS from using its social media accounts to spread bigoted and racist words and imagery promoting great replacement theory?
It's interesting how you make those claims and give no facts, but yet your party's the one that's supporting the guy that's got a Nazi tattoo.
I have the facts.
So this is a little bit annoying to me, because it's why yes, that's bad, right? It is bad that they shitpost on their social media about the fascism that they're doing, right? That is bad. But you know what else is worse? The fascism that they're doing. You should be talking about that more. You should be and maybe they have, and maybe this is just one aspect of it. I'm not saying you can't talk about how disgusting it is that they shitpost about the atrocities that they commit against brown people, right? That is gross, and it is disgusting. It should be called out. However, you should also maybe I missed more of the actual hearing, so I don't know if they actually talked about the more consequential aspect of DHS, which is setting up the system of concentration camps around our entire country that will inevitably be turned against American citizens eventually. That is the bad part, and let alone obviously what they're already doing to immigrants today.
Yeah, and Congressman Al Green also told Secretary Mullen to shut up after calling him a racist. And there were real points of substance to this.
Oh, and then also Mark Wayne Mullen talking about the dude with the Nazi tattoo, or I assume he means Graham Plattner or whatever. Again, it's a like it's so weird to be calling that out when you're doing all the same shit the Nazis did, right? Like when like the Nazis, they took a bunch of people, marginalized people, and then they took them and they concentrated them in centers, camps. They were called camps, but centers, detention centers, where they detained them and they concentrated them all in these one location, right? Like you are doing the Nazi shit. Like, so, I don't know, man. And also like Graham Plattner, I'm a little bit skeptical of him, just like I think a lot of Democrats are, but I think we just realized that no time. We ain't got time to worry too much about of that. If he ends up legislating like John Fetterman, then I'll be pissed off. But you can't just like out of pocket dismiss everybody as being, you know, not untrustworthy, or like not voting for people because they're untrustworthy, because technically anybody can change all of their policy positions as soon as they get into office, like Fetterman or Gillibrand. You know, so for right now, I'm skeptically hopeful that Graham Plattner will not turn out to be an actual Nazi, but we'll see. We'll see. He won't be the first Nazi in Congress, and he certainly won't be the last either.
This hearing where Secretary Mullen said that a border wall is going to be finished from the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Gulf of America at this time next year. Unfortunately,
I forgot they're still doing the Gulf of America bullshit. That's such like a nonsense thing. That's going to be like literally only people like in right-wing media ecosystems are ever going to say that. And they'll have to like, it's funny because they have to cognitively remember that it's not Gulf of Mexico and like actually like try to say it like the propaganda way to try to, do their racist agitprop or whatever. But like the rest of the world, the rest of like normal society is just gonna keep calling it Gulf of Mexico. But
the point that these moments that we're highlighting are what get all the attention.
That's the thing, right? That should be a very, very big story, that the wall would be finished in that fashion. And all we're seeing are clips of what we just saw now. And then Al Green calling Markwayne Mullen a racist. And then
you want to know why the wall is such a who cares thing? Is because for me, as like someone who doesn't like racist agitprop, I'm like it's just a monument to racism. Like that is how I view it. It is straight up just a monument of racism. But to a lot of like normal, like just like even like maybe right-wing-ish people or independents, they see it as just like a waste of tax dollars because it doesn't do anything, right? Like building a wall in no way under any circumstances reduces migration. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't, because the vast majority of migration is done through airplanes. Like people just fly over and they overstay their visa. Like that is the vast majority of like quote unquote illegal migration. So it's such a nothing burger that like I don't even think independents and right wingers even care that much about the wall at this point. Like I'm gonna be honest. It no longer serves its purpose as a way to gin up, like to get all of these people into like a racist rage, right? Like that, it was good as a propaganda tool for like trying to like get people to rally around some sort of like policy position or whatever, but it served its purpose now, and now I think a lot of people just don't care about it. Like it served its purpose, so nobody cares, so now it's just a waste of tax dollars.
Wayne Mullen defending himself, saying, "Do you just call me a racist?" And then Al Green didn't tell him to shut up just once, but shut up 5 times, right? And the irony is that Markwayne Mullen is a Cherokee, right? So I don't know. That's just unbelievable stuff here. But again, this is just.
And Candace Owens is a black person, and Nick Fuentes is a Mexican. White supremacy. It has broken containment. People.
It's one big show at this point, and
also. Cherokee. There's a long, proud history and tradition of white people claiming to be Native American in this country. I don't know why people do it. I think it like somehow reduces, like it makes you feel like you can reduce your like guilt around the genocide of the indigenous people here or whatever to do so. So I'm highly highly skeptical that this man is actually like part Cherokee, in the same way that I was skeptical of Elizabeth Warren. Like I just like this has a long storied history, okay, of people just lying, and sometimes people don't even know that they're lying. Sometimes people like the lie got started like 2 generations back, and it's just been passed down throughout their family history and stuff. But that's just something to be aware of out there, people.
It's good that a Mark Wayne Mullen or a Marco Rubio usually comes in and fires back like he did about Graham Plattner, and obviously supporting the guy with the Nazi tattoo. So in the end, whether it's Mark Wayne Mullen or
he doesn't have
Marco
it anymore.
Rubio, I should say, if he's the Republican nominee, just imagine him debating Kamala Harris or AOC for that matter, if they're the nominees. It would be like, just to date myself, that 1988.
He would get the floor wiped with him, dude. Marco Rubio is not that charismatic. Even in those short clips that they showed of him, like he wasn't charismatic. He looked kind of like a loser. Like am I wrong? I thought he looked kind of like, beta-ish. Like he just didn't really have he didn't have the charisma that was necessary. Mark Wayne Mullen, I mean, rhetorically, I think he did fine there or whatever. But like Marco Rubio in particular seemed like not very competent at this sort of combative like interview. I guarantee you AOC would wipe the floor with Marco Rubio in any sort of debate. No questions asked.
Out between Mike Tyson and Michael Spinks where it was over 91 seconds. That's how badly that would go.
The good news on the Al Green
There's so
front,
much opium,
he
man.
is
How do people
permanently
watch this
silenced
shit?
in a political sense because the voters said you're out. Joe Concha, he is in, and we're going to leave him in, and we appreciate it as always,
Thank
Joe.
you, Joe.
Thank you.
I'm just like, how do people watch this shit, man? It's so much hopium. So much hopium.
Welcome back. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is making the rounds on Capitol Hill today, squaring off with Democrats on several
Let's hear some more
unexpected
questions
topics,
from
including this
Marco
moment
Rubio.
about
Hello, Marco.
shoes.
Just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought
We
you
already
were
saw
too
this
big.
one.
I don't know what shoes she's talking about. What is she talking about? I don't know about the shoes. I mean, he gave me some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what she's talking about. And maybe that's what she's referring to.
Your shoes
That
look
is what
very
she's
nice
referring
today,
to.
Mr. Secretary.
Well, how can you see them? They're way down here.
What?
We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
Sorry, we already saw that
Senior
one,
foreign
but I
policy
wanted
correspondent
to. I
Jillian
needed a
Turner reporting live
refresher.
from the State Department. The last time shoes intersected with foreign policy was, I think, Bush 2.
That's right. When he got guessed, that was a terrible.
Okay. That was a good one. Fox News, you earn the Technically Clay seal of humor for today. You get one day. One day you get the seal of humor. I bestow it upon you. This is a rare occurrence where they made a good joke. They were referencing, obviously, when that guy went up and threw a shoe at George W. Bush for being a war criminal, right? And sad aftermath of that is I think that guy went to jail for a long time. Even though, like, I think that like a lot of people at this point would like to throw a shoe or maybe something a little harder at George W. Bush, but yeah, that was a good joke. So congrats, a rare humor W from Fox News.
Moment, but this kind of personal back and forth thing, Aisha, went on for some time in this hearing. The House Democrats on this panel certainly took a very different tack than their Senate colleagues did with the secretary yesterday. But Rubio, for his part, made it very clear that when it comes to his budget, leading this department, the State Department, it's very targeted and it is directed at specific foreign policy goals. Take a listen.
You personally, as a senator, supported authorizing legislation, the READ Act. How much of this funding has been spent so far?
I don't have that figure in front of me, but I can tell you we're not going to fund
us?
puppet shows.
Can you get it for us?
Yeah, I'll get it for you, but I'm going to tell you the number of puppet shows and all these other stupid things they were spending money
What's he
on is going to
talking
be
about
zero.
On
What puppet shows? What's he talking about? Maybe I must be missing some context here because I'm like, what on earth are they talking about?
Shows were and all these other stupid things they were
Is he
spending
drunk?
money on is going to be zero.
On substantive policy issues, Democrats used much of their time to impress upon Secretary Rubio. They think that the war in Iran is illegal and illegitimate and a hot mess.
So is the war still on or is the war off?
What you're seeing reports of, including last night, is the following. A ship will go through the route, particularly both the northern and southern route of Hormuz. Those ships will come under attack. The U.S. will respond to that attack by shooting down those drones that are trying to sink a commercial civilian vessel illegally.
Okay. Dude, the war is still on because the blockade is still on. A blockade, any sort of military blockade, is an act of war. And by that same regard, by the way, we are actually technically currently at war with Cuba as well. And I think that's also been going on for more than 60 days. So, which the War Powers Resolution, if you don't know, is like, if you you need Congress's approval to go to be at war after 60 days. I don't know why we gave it that 60-day buffer that allows presidents to get into wars of choice based solely on their own desire. And then like after 60 days, we have to try to rein them back in. It seems like a big, it seems like a big process hurdle to just try to allow presidents to continue to unilaterally do acts of war against other countries, but like it is just like, I don't know. At least at this point, it is technically illegal, right? The war is illegal, and every day that Trump leaves those ships out there trying to enact this blockade, both against Cuba and against Iran, is technically breaking the law and should be thrown in jail for doing so. I wish that we had people who had the, wherewithal to actually do that, or the political power to actually do that. But they're not going to. So they passed a War Powers Resolution recently in the House, which still needs to pass the Senate, which is basically just a redeclaration of but yeah, for realsies, it actually is illegal to be at war past 60 days now. And so now we'll see if that passes the Senate. But the problem is, even if it does, what's going to happen, right? Like, he's going to say, we're not at war, is what he's probably going to say. He's going to say we're not actually at war, which is not true because, like I said, a blockade is an act of war. So then it will be on Congress or somebody to hold him accountable. Like I said, throw him in jail. And again, that's not going to happen. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, that's my general sense though of what's going to happen when it comes to the War Powers Resolution. But yeah.
And unlawfully. At that point, the Iranians will respond to that by targeting some facility in the region in retribution. On occasion, in order to protect our own forces, we don't just strike the drones, we strike the people who launch those drones.
So as Secretary Rubio is tied up literally all day today on Capitol Hill, back here at the State Department, Israel and Lebanon are in the middle of another round of talks. They started about 9 a.m. this morning. They are still ongoing. Okay.
Well, we'll talk more about Lebanon after this video, but well, there you go. There's some clips from Rubio throwing it down. I always imagine like he's like throwing it down on the dance floor, like he's going up and like, I don't know, doing like the like flossing or something on the desk, like, but nah, it was just him making a few comments. As I said in the beginning, these Senate hearings are always annoying, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican administration. They're always frustrating to watch because, there's never any like real information, it feels like, that is allowed to come through. It's just kind of the politics and era that we live in. Hopefully one day we can make it back to, a more conducive environment for actually getting good information from our elected, or I guess he's picked, like chosen representatives or whatever.